will hopefully keep you satisfied. All right, let's see. So we had last time we had our freebie was the Hey There. So it's now going into the catalogue, and that can be purchased now. So previously Hey There could only be gotten as an exclusive through a freebie through this store, the Heffy Doodle store. But now if you missed out on that, you can actually buy the Hey There stamp set. So we've got the Hey There stamps and dies. Hey Laura, aren't you on your travels, my dear? All right, let's go through some of these. So first up here, we have got Perfect Day. As you can see, mine is already well loved. I did use it on a card last week on this one here that I made. And let me pull out some other cards using that stamp set. So we have a selection of 5 little kitty cats, and then also this cat tree or a cat gym, whatever you call it. Some sweet little accessories like the fish, and then the fish in the wrapper, like a gift, and a bowl. We've got the word meow, and we've used that here. This is the card that I made that ended up staining my stamps. As you can see, all this dark purple one on the background. It turned out so well though, so I don't care. So that's Perfect Day. And in the dies, there is a die that cuts out the center of this. Let me zoom so you can see. So you can see if you look really close, it cuts out the middle here. So you could have a cat or something peeking out, but I actually just wanted it to look shaded, like there's nothing in there. So I just popped it back in there as I stuck it to the card. I don't think you would even notice that it had a die cut there. I think it's so fun. So that's Perfect Day. We've got stamps and dies, of course. And you'll see here that there's some internal cut lines on some of these little kitties. And that means that you can tuck the elements into their paws. It looks absolutely adorable. So that is Perfect Day. We have got the wonderfully woven stencil, which looks like this. And that gives a really nice, almost like a basket weave texture. You can see I've used it on the back of this. Yay! It looks really, really cool. I think it just gives a nice added feel to it. So that's wonderfully woven. Amanda says, never too much Heffy Doodle. Laura, hi. Snowy says, it's an amazing release. I need to pace my spending though. I've got my eye on cats, monkeys, and strips of A's. Yeah, unfortunately we're a bit close to Christmas, but we figured you could buy yourself something, and then you can also tell people that you want money and that you can spend your Christmas money on Heffy Doodle. And we actually have, it was Laura's idea. She was like, do you think we could have like a wish list? So we put together a wish list / checklist. So you can mark on it the things that you would like, and then also has a box for the things that you have. So if you're one of these people that likes to be super organized and keep an inventory of your supplies, you might find that useful. So head on over to the Heffy Doodle blog today to get the link to those. There's one for all releases if you want to do all of your Heffy Doodle stash. And then there's one separate one for this release if you're trying to drop subtle hints to people. Okay, so this one is called Chimply the Best, and these little cheeky chimps are just absolutely so cute and adorable. And I wanted to have a vine that we could colour in, but I also really like solid images, especially for creating scenes like in the background. So I added 2 of these different lengths of vines, and you can almost extend them and things like that. And they all have dies to go with them too. And my daughter hates bananas. They make her be sick. So there is like an anti-banana rule in our house. She really doesn't like the smell of them or even looking at them. So for me to get away with creating a stamp set with bananas, I think I'm doing pretty good. So we've got different orientations of banana, an open banana, and a bunch as well. And this adorable little trophy, because it says you are the champion and you are simply the best. Once again, the dies, we've got a little monkey here. Here he is, with his hands coming in like this, because I wanted him to be able to hold some of the accessories. So you can see we've got a card here. So cute. I don't know if I've got any with Mr. Chimp holding anything. I think I've sent those to retailers at the moment. But keep an eye on our social media, because the team have made some phenomenal cards and you guys are going to want to see them. They're absolutely adorable. Candy says, can't wait to spend my money. Yay! Rena, I'm handing over my phone to a kid for a bit, so I'll be watching but not be able to comment. Okay, Rena, we know you're there, honey. So thankful to catch you live today. Yay! You waited until payday for the pre-orders opening. Thank goodness. I didn't even think of that. I was just trying to figure out when we could ship them, because we had a little delay, sadly, on our die delivery, which meant that the timeline didn't go as we had originally planned. But we're here now, so it's fine. All right, this is probably my most favorite stencil from the whole release. This is called Fancy Foliage, and has this cool like repeating pattern. If you look at it in certain lights, it almost looks like cubes or steps, but then when you ink it up, it just looks like leaves, I think, which is why we went for Fancy Foliage. I think it gives a really interesting pattern that could be used for any sort of generic card. But then also you can see here, if I zoom in a little bit, I've put some Distress Oxide here and then added a darker color on top. It really does give that jungly feel, which I am absolutely loving. So that is Fancy Foliage. Hey! Aunt Max is here on Facebook. Hello, hello. And Sharon as well. I didn't know about your live, just came onto Facebook. Hey Sharon, lovely to have you with us. And Ashley's here too. Fabulous. Okay. Let's see if I can remember the next thing. Oh yes. So when I showed the design team the monkeys, I can't remember who it was. It might have been you, Ashley, where said, "Oh, please, can we have some leaves, like dies for leaves?" So these guys are next on the list. These are called Amazonian leaf dies, leaves. And I don't think I have any samples here. I've sent them all out. But you create these gorgeous leaves with some texture. Some of them have stitching on them. And it's great for building up your own sort of textured background, creating a little scene. I think these guys are going to be really popular. Certainly the design team seems to love playing with them. So those are Amazonian leaves. Let me introduce you to these two guys now. So originally when I made these were all kind of crammed onto one set. And as always, I have to separate them out so that there's enough space between the stamps whenever they're manufactured. And I really wanted to have sentiment stamps which have a flat bottom, because I think it's easier to line up and make that straight on your card. And also if you're using the MISTI guidelines, I think that's really easy. So we've got two classic sentiment stamp sets, and they're called just that. This one is called Classic Sentiments, and this one's called More Classic Sentiments. So this one is going to be your staple. It's a very basic font. It's a nice size, not too big, not too small, and it covers all your main occasions like happy birthday, we've got happy retirement, Merry Christmas, graduation, engagement, anniversary, Easter, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Bon Voyage, things like that. There was also a couple of other little spaces, so I filled them out with generic things like celebrate, high new home. And then all of the other more quirkier, maybe more unusual, but still useful sayings went onto this stamp set. So I wanted to do bridal shower, and then things like sorry to see you go. They deal with the classical events, but perhaps it's not just the phrase that would immediately come to mind, like happy retirement or bon voyage. You could use that sorry to see you go. And this one, I also put in sending you strength, which you can see here, which I think is an absolutely gorgeous sentiment to send to somebody who's maybe going through a hard time. So there we go. That is classic sentiments and more classic sentiments. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Love the leaves, says Ashley. Yay. And the size of them. Oh, they're really, really good size. Yeah. Leaves are really good seam builders, says Tally. Yay. And Sophia is there too. Hey, Sophie. Hello, Lesley. Hugs from Budapest. This release is hyper super cute. Yay. Okay, next up, we have got more strips of these. So when you look at this, you probably think, I recognize that. That's the strips of these dies. Now, this is actually called more strips of these. And originally, I had this fat one and this even fatter one, because some of the sentiments, especially in the most recent releases, have got like deeper sentiments. They're much taller. And so the strips of ease, they were just a little bit too close. So people had asked me, are you going to be making strips of ease which are a little bit bigger to accommodate those larger sentiments? So I thought, yeah, let's do it. I made this one and this one. And then I thought, actually, what I really like is really thin strips as well. And for things like this card here, going down the edge of things, I like thin strips to help act as like a focal point. So I did 2 of these thin ones. You can see here how perfect these thin strips are. That's using the more strips of ease there, if you can see that in the different colors. So I had those together, just those 4, but there was loads of space in the middle. And I want to make sure that you guys get more bang for your buck. So I added some other bits and pieces. And let me show you these, because these are really cool. I'm going to take them out so you can see it. What I often do is when I have a sentiment strip like this, I stamp my sentiment in the middle and then I just trim off either side. And sometimes what I will do is I will cut up the middle like this a little bit and then create a fishtail effect. But I never get them perfect. One always is a little bit higher than the other. So I thought it would be cool to have these tiny little add-ons. You gotta make sure that you have a magnetic sheet in here. But hopefully you can see that there are little notches. If I do this, maybe you'll be able to see. Can you see there's little notches along here? So those notches are to help you guys align the dies with whichever sentiment strip you're using. So if I do like this, hopefully you can see there is a notch for every sentiment strip. It's hard to get the focus here. So the largest sentiment strip are the outermost notches that you will line up and all the way in. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy that. And as I was putting this together, somebody said to me, oh, there's space in the middle. I think it was Amanda. There's space in the middle. Do you think you could fit in a couple of little slots? Because I'm always looking for slots to create slider cards and pop-up cards and things like that. And I thought, yeah, absolutely. Let's give everybody more for their money by filling in this space. I might as well. So there we go. We have little slots in there as well. So I can't wait to see what the team come up with. That is more strips of ease. Now we had a question from Candy. Lesley, can we add older stock to our pre-order? You absolutely can. So in order to get the freebie here, you need to have one item, at least one item from the new release. You can add as much from previous releases as you want. The thing to bear in mind is that these won't ship until release day, or at least that's what we tell you. For American people, we try to get them off a little bit earlier. So next week, between Christmas and New Year, the following week, I guess, I will try to ship them a few days earlier so that they get to you shortly after the 3rd. You're not waiting a long time. So that's just the one thing you need to bear in mind. If you did 2 orders with older stock now, then they will ship immediately. But with Christmas and everything, it's probably not worthwhile doing that, to be honest, and paying to lots of shipping. I hope that answers your question. Okay, next up, this is one of my favorite sentiments from this release, because I just love having that curved sentiment. It's amazing. So let me show you this. This is called the Roundabout Sentiments Stamp Set, and it coordinates with the curved banner die. Ta-da! So the curved banner die has got this beautiful curve here, and then it has perfect fishtails and 2 little embossing lines here. So whenever you actually die cut it, let me show you here. Here's one I prepared earlier. When you die cut it, you'll have little crease marks here, and you fold it back and forth like this to create your banner. So you have some nice dimension there. And you'll see that these sentiments line up perfectly with that little curve. Now, there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, because one of our new stencil range, the Masquerades, which you may have seen. No more wonky fishies. Yeah, I know, amazing. Those notches are a genius idea, says Sophia. I struggle with cutting fishtailings. Me too, me too. So these are the Masquerade stencils. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a few minutes, but they have guidelines on them to help you line these up perfectly onto your card, so you get an inked area in exactly the right place. But you can see I've used it here like that. But when I was making the Roundabout Sentiments, I was actually bearing this in mind and thinking that it would look really cool to use them together. So we have used this size circle as a guide for our Roundabout Sentiments. So then what that means is that your Roundabout Sentiments will fit so nicely on this. So if I actually show you this, can you see? Oops, no you can't. Let me zoom in. If I hold this here, that's the shape of the inked area. This will be perfectly aligned just above your inked area, and likewise below the inked area there. So I think it looks so cool. And then you also have the option to combine that with your curved banner die. Hey Laura, Crafty Not Shifty. How you doing, girl? So that's Roundabout Sentiments and curved banner. Let's see what else we have in here. Okay, next up, another die set, and this is called Lovely Little Borders. So I wanted to have a die set that cut out a row of hearts, a row of stars, things like that, to create some really interesting edges. But then I also wanted to add on scallops, dots, stitching, so that you can create some really interesting edges to your cards. So here's, for example, if you can see, there's little dots all the way along here. And this one as well, we've used that zigzag along the top. You can see I used the Roundabout Sentiments here. And then I used a curved banner on its own at the bottom just to help really focus in on that focal area. So that is lovely little borders, and there's just so much here. One of the design team actually took the scallop die and created a panel. They cut a scallop like down here and down here, and then they took it this way and this way. So they pretty much created their own scallop rectangle to work with their card. It was really clever, and I never thought that it would have lined up so perfectly. There's lots in here. I think that one's going to be really popular as well. You get a lot for your money. So that's lovely little borders. What else have we got? Okay, this is a really funny one. I actually don't have any examples in here. I'll need to go and get the ones from inside. This is called Pasta la Vista. So I love my food. I am a hungry Heffy, and I love creating fun things with around food, etc. And one of the team said to me, "Oh, please do a pasta set." And my original thought was, a pasta set? And then she just threw loads of ideas at me, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be so cute." So it's pasta, and they look fairly basic because in order to give you guys flexibility, I draw them like this, and then you can add the little faces onto them, and it's so cute. So there's a little bit of a story here. There was one, I think it was a t-shirt or something that we saw when we were looking at options, and it was the life cycle of a pasta. Bear with me, it's really funny. So you know the life cycle of a butterfly, where you have a worm, I was going to say a caterpillar, and then the little cocoon and butterfly, etc. So it was like, this was the little caterpillar, and then this hanging on a tree was the cocoon, and then this was the butterfly, and it was so adorable. And I thought, right, yeah, we need to do that. Maybe we should do that card tonight. I think that would be so funny. Ashley says, I love the sentiments in this set so much. The sentiments are a little quirky, but I think that they are fun. So the sentiment says, "I want to pass the time away with you." Holy macaroni, how old are you now? And pasta la vista, baby. I think that will work with the happy retirement or bon voyage, won't it? You are the macaroni to my cheese. And of course we added a cheese. And I thought that would actually be quite cool, because you could use that with Hello Squeakheart. And then we've got anything is pastable, which is so funny. Rena says, "I'm so excited for those border dies." Missed the name. They're called Lovely Little Borders. They're going to be great. So this is our pasta. And then these are our dies. I haven't played with these ones yet, so I'm excited. And the little hands and things, I think that you're going to be able to use them with other stuff. I know some of the design team took the macaron and added the faces and the hands and even little smiles on the cake pop. It's absolutely adorable. The team just are knocking it out of the park this release. I'm absolutely amazing. The basil leaves are the foodie touch. Yes, a little basil leaf are cute. Plus, it's generic enough that you could just use it as a leaf, like in autumn, etc. So that's everything. Sorry, that is Pasta La Vista. And then this is going to be a fun stencil for you. Let me take this one out because I have two in here. This one is called Wave to Me. And originally, I was going to call it Noodle Waves because it reminded me of noodles. But then I thought it actually looked more like waves. So now it's called Wave to Me. And I think, once again, it gives a really cool background effect, a bit like this one, where it doesn't need to have doesn't need to accessorize something. It would just be a really interesting pattern. But it also goes really well with our new Otter Stamp Set. Let me put this one back in. So that is Wave to Me. Now I will say that this stencil is really fine. So for best results, you will probably want to look at using pixie spray or repositionable adhesives, things like that. So that is Wave to Me. Just look how cool that is layered up together. Like, that's not even lined up. Sometimes I find that with the stencils, they look extra cool when they're layered up. Right, so let me show you these otters. Last year, one of our design team members said, please do otters. I love otters. And in fact, at the time, I had some otters doodled, but just as I was about to finish off doing the design, another company came out with otters, and I was like, oh, they look quite similar. I'm just going to bank this design and do it later. So I came back to the otters, and Francie was pleased. So this is called Otter Side. Hello from the Otter Side. And of course we've got Hello from the Otter Side on there. And that kind of, I have so many friends and customers as well that are on the other side of the world. They're in America, Australia, etc. So I really wanted to I had that in my mind when I was naming this Otter Side, because I think many of us have crafty friends all around the world. So this is Otter Side, and we've got some absolutely adorable otters. And there's a couple of dies here I wanted to mention as well. So this little guy, the die cuts around the bottom section of his hand here. So it cuts around here. So you could take maybe the heart or the beach ball and tuck it into there so he's holding it. Likewise up here, it cuts around his paw like that. And these guys, it cuts around these outer ones. So they could actually hold a sentiment or something in there. This one doesn't have any internal cut lines because it was too close to his face. But there's loads of little accessories like the shells. There's like a mussel thing here, a little tiny starfish. Going to go really well with the Oceans of Love stamp set. And here's the dies. And for the dies, what I really wanted is this stamped line here, the wave. I wanted to be able to cut out the top of that wave so you could tuck your little otter inside it. So if I show you this, hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. You have a wave image and you are still able to line up the die over the top of the stamp image like you normally would. But instead of the die cutting all the way around that stamped line, you will see that there's only a blade on the top section of this die. So it will cut along the top edge of your wave. And then you can tuck that cute little otter in there. So he's bobbing along in the waves. Isn't it adorable? So that is Otter Side, stamps and dies. And then we have a stencil to go along with those guys, which is called Stormy Seas. There we go. Stormy Seas. Ah. So very similar to our Cityscape and Cloudy Day. Hey, Scrapbook Cottage, how are you? Laura says, the Wave to Me stencil looks great with blending brushes too. Absolutely. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So here we go. We've got Stormy Skies, and similar to the, oh, here we go. Other stencils we have, like Cloudy Skies. what you do is you slide your card into this slit, and then you can ink it up here. And you can see how I've inked this twice. I inked it once with that one and then darker with this one. If you want the wave going the other way, just turn it around and do it this way. So we've got 3 different types of waves here. One really choppy ocean here. I think that's gonna be really cool with like a boat that waves or something, or that bubbles along. And then also some bumps here for a bit more subtle waves. This is just scratch card that I was testing it out on, but I think it looks super cool. Absolutely one that's going to be perfect in your stash. So that is Stormy Seas. What else have I got in here? Let me see. Okay. Next up, for those little angels in your life, this stamp set is called My Little Angel. And we have got a selection of absolutely angelic little ladies here. They're cute little wings, and they look so serene. This one's hanging over a cloud, absolutely beautiful. Where's my card here? Here they are in their glory. And once again, this die set has got loads of internal cut lines to give you some more flexibility. This lady here, she has an internal cut line on her hand here. So I have tucked that loop in there. This one actually cuts out both of the hands. I only tucked it into the one on the left for this card, the little loop again. And then the flying angel looking right, she's right here, and her hand also has an internal cut line. We've put the harp in there. And for the little lady hanging over a cloud, it cuts out her hands as well. And there's some fun accessories in this set. We've got the lute and the harp. We have loads of little music notes. And we also have this. I guess it kind of looks like a birthday card. It was meant to be like a hymn sheet or something like that, but I like that it can double up as a birthday card, or maybe they're singing carols around a tree. We've got like the treble clef and some crosses as well. Let me just show you this while I'm here. I have used a stitched circle and the Roundabout Sentiments to create this fun interactive card, spinner card. There you go. And I've got the word spin me here from the Interactively Yours stamp set. So that's My Little Angel. Another interesting thing about this stamp set is I wanted to have the shine of the halos. Can you see them here? But whenever you die cut these all out, the halo, we wanted it to be able to stick on. So what I did was created another unique die. So when you stamp the halo like this, or maybe emboss it in gold, that's what I did, look awesome. You have this cool little die that looks like a rugby ball or something, and you line it up over those dashes like this, and you'll see if I flip this over, it cuts out an oval shape. And because it has this section down here, you can layer that behind the head of your little angel, and it'll stick on really nicely, making it less fiddly for you. So that one is called My Little Angel Stamps and Dies. And we also have a Simply Radiant stencil that pairs really, really well Laura's Crafty Not Shifty says, these videos are too expensive to watch. My basket is overflowing. I'm sorry, honey. So this is Simply Radiant. It's Christmas. Splurge a little. And this looks absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you this. So I have not paired this with, there we go. I haven't paired this with anything to do with angels, but what I have done, let me zoom up closer because it's too gorgeous not to. This is the Gina K and Thermal Web Glimmer, what is it called, you guys? Glitter gel? Glimmer gel? Oh, I'm going to have to go and find out now. I'm going to have to pull it out of my glitz gel. And it just gives the most impressive shine that you'll see. And I love that. It gives a similar effect to the Zap Attack, but so different. Just having those rounded glitz glitter gel. Thank you, Sophie. Those rounded, elongated lines just gives it, I guess, a bit of a softer touch, and I think it looks really, really cool with the angels, but also just on their own. So this is called Simply Radiant. I think it's going to be perfect if you wanted a focal element on your card. Absolutely. All right, Gio. Next up, we have something that is a little bit different. This is called, let me zoom out. This is called Down the Line. Once again, someone on my team said to me, oh, actually, what would be really cool is if we had some sentiments in a vertical fashion, and you could do downward sentiments. You could have a sentiment like this on the side of a card. And I thought, you know, I've not really seen anything like that, and it would be really cool to do something a little bit different like that. So these are called Down the Line. And once again, we tried to cover many of the sentiments that would crop up in everyday life and everyday card making. Oh, there's my Simply Radiant. So we got congratulations. Here's an example of how we've used it on this little card. And I've also used it on this card. I'm not sure what this card is called. Is it a Sidestep card? Maybe you guys can help me out there. But we have these different steps to the card, and then this bit on the end that is going down. We've still got room for a sentiment, because I don't need room left to right. I need room up and down, and it works perfect. I'm in full panic mode. I can't find my purse. Please don't sell out while I'm searching. Okay, I will try not to, but I have no control because I'm talking to you guys, Laura. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll get you sorted. So here we have our cute little otters, and I actually used the Stormy Seas as a guide to cut out those strips. So what I did was I just took a pencil and drew along in this line as a guide, and then cut it out with my scissors, and it worked perfectly well for that, to create that kind of fun wave shape. So that's Down the Line. And once again, please look on the store, because the team have created some really cool projects with this, and there's more coming, so watch this space. One of the team created a card a little bit like this, but instead of having that rainbow line coming down, it was thicker, using the more strips of ease, and then sentiments coming down like that in different colors, and it really pops. It's really cool and unusual. So that's Down the Line. Down the line. Okie dokies. Let me show you these guys. These are called Fancy Nancy frames. So you get 3 of these dies in the set. First of all, you get this one, and it cuts out, I'm trying to get my sweet spot, it cuts out a circle in the middle, which has some faux stitching on the outside of the circle, and then it also cuts a ring, come on, a ring of hearts all the way around. So you can create a really fun like focal area on your card. Of course, Lesley had her thinking cap on, and this coordinates with the masquerade stencil as well. It's going to be the perfect size to coordinate with that. So what you could have is you could pair those two together and have those beautiful hearts. This creates a really beautiful element anyway, even if you didn't want the circle on the inside. You just, let's say you cut that out of white card and you layered it onto maybe some inked card or some colored card and just put the white piece back in the middle, and you get that gorgeous ring of hearts around the outside. I think that's going to be really cool, especially for like Valentines and things. So the second die in this set is an inverted scallop. And I do have a card here using this one. So it looks like this. We have the die cut line and then faux stitching. So you can take a look here. To create that really cool focal area is absolutely gorgeous and really interesting. And the third die in this set is probably my favorite. And this is actually an interactive die. So we have a circle, here with some stitching on the inside. Now the cut line doesn't go all the way to the top because this is actually going to be like a lift the flap kind of die. So there's a tab at the bottom, which means that you can hold it. I also made it big enough so you could put Lift Me on it from the Interactively Yours stamp set. You see this little bit at the bottom? It actually cuts away that sort of semicircle because it's for your fingernail. We want you to be able to get your fingernail in there and lift it up. Because one of the things I find with some of the lift the card elements is that you almost have to bend the card in order to get your thumb under there. So here we have the lift the flap kind of thing going on. And one of the team said to me, which of course I didn't realize, and they're 100% right, if you turn it around this way, it looks really like a Christmas bauble. And so I think that would be also a kind of cool concept to go with, have this kind of Christmas bauble effect here. More versatility. Ashley says, I did not know all the circle things fit together like this. Ah, you see? My brain's on overdrive. All right, what else have we got in here? So we've got a load of word dies, but before I show you those, let's have a look at some hedgehogs. Okay. This stamp set is called Quill You Be Mine. Because hedgehogs have quills, the prickly bits are called quills. And this stamp set is, it is kind of Valentine's-y, kind of birthday-ish, and also just general day use. Ashley says this is her favorite. Why is this your favorite, Ashley? Can't wait to find out. And we have got this cute little guy here, all wide-eyed. And then we've got a hedgehog holding a heart. One that's coming in for his hedgehog, of course. And then we have these little balloons, like a party balloon, a larger and a smaller one. But instead of having just a normal balloon shape, we wanted to make them a little bit more foresty. So we did a cute little flower. We have a forest themed birthday cake kind of thing going on here with the leaves. And then we've also got up here a hedgehog having a cuddle. And I think that will be really cool for like Mother's Day, Father's Day, things like that, or even for your mom or for your dad. We've also got the sentiment, You Hold My Heart, and looking sharp. Obviously a play on the sharp prickles on the quills on his back. But to make him look really sharp and dapper, he has a top hat and a cane as well. Sophia says, I love that hug. Tiffany, hey Tiffany, I love those little hedgies, must have. Hedgies are the cutest. The one holding his arms out is the best. Yes, year-round critters, absolutely. I think so too. So we have got, I even coloured some of these guys in already. And that is Quill You Be Mine stamps and dies. And we've also got some, it reminds me of the children's book. Oh, what children's book? We've also got some background dies. So you might be, oh, it's called Hedgehogs. I'm not familiar with it. Cool. You might be familiar with the stitched bubble background die, where there's little circles that look like bubbles and they're interconnected in certain places like this. And we wanted to carry that sort of theme through, and this is the Stitched Hearts background die. It's one of those dies that's going to make card making super easy. Actually, I have a card here using it. It gives such an interesting texture to an otherwise plain and flat background. So here I've used it on this card. So that's the Stitched Hearts background die. It's also really fun to create things like tags or panels, just to give that texture. Another super popular one so far is this little guy. This is called Quilted Hearts background die. Now, have I got one? Yes, I do. So this cuts out, let me zoom. It will cut out a perfect A2 panel, got hair on it, and it has these little hearts that it will cut out, and connected to them there, it will connect the hearts with these dashes, 4 dashes between them in this diamond effect. So it almost looks like a quilt. This is another one that makes the card making come together so quickly. This card, for example, is light purple cardstock, piece of white cardstock with that Quilted Hearts background die, pattern paper here at the bottom cut with my Slopey Joes, and then a couple of cats, and then I added one of our new skinny frames on there, which I'll show you in just a second, and a sentiment with one of the more strips of these. So this here, love the Quilted Hearts die, says Laura. It just makes everything so easy. And here, I wonder if you can see it, I embossed it using, I'm going to turn down the light slightly. You see, almost. There we go. I have embossed this in my Gemini Junior with a tan embossing mat, and the texture is just so cool. It just absolutely elevates it. Looks really, really cool. Okay, let me zoom you back up again. It's available on Amazon. Steve Wilson and Lucy Tapper, very cute. Okay, I'll have to check it out. That's Quilted Hearts. And let me run through some of the word dies that we have. Oh, here comes my tea. Thank you so much. Craig, in the dining room, there is a red tub that has some cards from Tally and Mona. Mm-hmm. Could you please bring them in, if you have a moment? Okay, so we have a selection of dies. It's going to be harder for you guys to read them at the moment. but this one says Be Mine. We have Angel right here. We've got the word Valentine. Oh, there's Angel. Angel is there. Valentine, I think, is inside maybe. Anyway, it's an absolutely gorgeous written Valentine. You guys got to see it. We've got To My, and that's going to be really good for mixing and matching. What's wrong?
I've not seen that one before.
What one? You haven't seen that one? Alrighty. Let me see if I can find these. Okay, we've got Valentine here. Be Mine, Valentine. This is a card by Mona, and you can see that we've used the Quilted Hearts backdrop there, the background die. We've got the Sweet Stuff stamps and dies. She's added them and mixed them in with the Treat Yourself stamps and used some of the little eyes from that set to go on the macaron. Be Mine, and then Valentine. That's that one. Ooh, and there's that other one that I mentioned with the lines coming down. Isn't that so cool? With the down the line sentiments. That's awesome. All right, so we have Valentine, Angel, Be Mine, To My. And then this is our first shadow die where you get 2 dies together. And we have the words I love you. And then the shadow which says, which is I love you as well. So you had a little peek at that on this card. So the shadow I've cut out of Simply Delicious cardstock, and then the actual I love you word is cut out using some white foam. We've also got one here, so fun layering. And let me see if there's any more. Here's another one here. There's some cute otters. I love you. So that has also been really popular as well. And our other collection of words have run away. Oh no, they're right here. We have got Boyfriend, which I have here somewhere. Boyfriend. We have got Girlfriend. And we also have Fiance. Now, the word fiance actually comes with 2 E's, because if you're giving it to a lady, it has 2 E's. It's a feminine word. But here I have simply cut off the last E to make it a masculine word. So if I'm giving this to a man. I've also paired it up here with some more of the word dies that we have, so you can see them all together. So this is from the To My. We also have a set called You Are, and it has You Are, A, and it also has Your, Y-O-U-R-E, with an apostrophe in it. We've got the And from the, what's it called? Sparkle and Shine die set. The word Fiance, and then we also have Merry Christmas. Snowy Splodges says, is that the heart border die on the Girlfriend set? Yes, this is the border die from Lovely Little Borders. Fun, huh? So girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, and we also have if I can find them. Here we go. We also have some more essential ones. Wife. And we have husband. I'm not sure where my husband, oh here it is. Husband, wife. And we also have got partner. Husband, wife, and partner. Some really cool essential dies. Other dies in the set to try and boost our essentials line. We have got some skinny border frames. Look how beautiful that is, so fine and gorgeous. We've used them here with the Perfect Day set. I've also used the border with this one, but instead of using the frame, I took away the frame and kept the bit on the inside, and it is a perfect mat, a perfect size for matting and layering onto your A2 note cards. So these skinny frames come in Imperial, which is for your US sizes, pardon me, 5.5 by 4.25, and also in the metric size for those who use A4 paper to fold up and make note cards. Of course, I couldn't forget my circles. These are my skinny circle frames. If you look here, we've created a fun shaker card using that skinny frame. It just makes it look so like delicate, I think. It looks really cool. Here as well, I've added one of the frames onto the background to make that circle in the middle really pop. So those are skinny circle frames, skinny imperial rectangles, and skinny metric rectangles. And there's a couple of things still in my box which I obviously have forgotten about. I've got another stencil here. This one is called Confetti Hearts. And it's a really pretty size of heart scattered around on the background. And let's see if I've got any cards using that. This one has it on the background of the square. Anything else? Let me see. Aha! And this card, which features that Sweet Stuff stamp set, has got it in the background. Can you see these glittery hearts? I think that must be using some of that glitch gel as well. It gives an absolutely gorgeous sparkle to the background. It looks so cool. So that is Confetti Hearts. Oh yes. And this one is called Crazy Kaleidoscope. And it is just a super fun geometric kind of style. Here. You can see it, a bit of a tone on tone here in the background. It looks really cool. Don't think I've got any more here at the moment. When I pack up the orders and send them to retailers, they always ask for samples, so the rest of my samples have been donated to those guys. And then that just leaves us with our masquerade stencils. So let me create a little bit of room and then I'll show you what that's all about. We have got 4 masquerade stencils. The circle masquerade, which I spoke about earlier. We have got the scallop circle masquerade. a square masquerade and a scalloped square masquerade. And for each of these stencils, you will receive 2 pieces of Mylar. You will have the square shape and also the bit that goes on the inside. And I'll have to zoom you in a little bit to see this, and hopefully bring that down a little bit. You might be able to see if I position it carefully. At the top we have some lines, the line running along the top there, and can you see these guide marks, the lines? And then if I move down here, we have a engraved, maybe I need to go brighter. We have 5 by 5 engraved here, 5.5 by 4.25 engraved there. At the very bottom here, we've got A6. And those lines go right the way across and then up in that sort of long U shape. So this is going to help you get your card just perfectly aligned. So whether you use an A2 note card or an A6 card, what you will do is you'll line it up with a line at the top and then line it up with that bracket at the bottom, like so. Tape that in place, flip it over, and now this is going to be aligned on your card and you can ink it up. So you can create an inked area. This one is using the square, for example, and this one is using the circle. And then what you can do is leave that stencil in place and put another stencil on top and ink on top of it. So that's what I have done here with the wonderfully woven stencil. Here they've used the confetti hearts. And then the fun thing is that you also get this piece, right? So you can use both of these together, and because I have coordinated them, if you have a little look, this is the scalloped circle. That's a scalloped circle and the bit in the inside. If you look here, they layer absolutely perfectly. And like this as well. So you can use these together. You could put this in your Misty, for example. You could do this and ink around the edges with maybe like a yellow, and then you could put this one on top and maybe do an orange in the middle to get that sort of 2-layered effect. The other thing that you can do is you could use this scallop circle and then stick this onto your card and ink it up, and that leaves you with a frame. So I have an example of that here with the scalloped square and the square one used together. And you can just take this piece and temporarily adhere it to your project and ink up on top. And that's how I created this focal element on this card. I just held that down in place and inked up all the way around it. And that's how I get that white scallop circle there on that one. The inner circle is really good for moons. Yes, it is perfect for moon kind of shapes. And I also wanted to show you this one here, which you might not have noticed as you first look at it. It does feature an older stamp on here, but what I did was I lined this up. Was it this way? I can't remember which way now, but I lined it up like this, and then I moved it along, I want to say an inch maybe, and then inked it up. So I did red, orange, yellow, and moved it all the way along until I had this rainbow spectral effect going on here. And I just think it gives a really interesting effect to the card. So I was trying to use these guys in different ways. Even though it's a really basic shape, and I have in the past created my own circle stencils using just a die. However, a lot of the dies that I have stitching. So when I would have a piece like this, a negative, the ink would actually get into the stitched areas and it wouldn't be that neat. And I just kept making them. So this here is going to be your mask or your stencil that you're never going to have to replace because you've got them all ready to go. So this is the Circle Masquerade stencil and the Scalloped Circle Masquerade stencil. And then likewise, we have got the square and the scalloped square. Let me just show you this card that Mona made because I think it's hilarious. This one. So as you can see, we have all these macarons dotted around, but in the middle, she has used the scallop circle to create almost like a biscuit. You know those like round, like shortbread biscuits? I think it looks so cool and so realistic. I just love the way that she has used that for a really interesting effect. Isn't it really cool? Ashley says, super cool, might have to borrow that one. Absolutely. Let me just show you some more of these cards that the team have sent through. Here's one using the Pastel Vista, paired up with a diamond ring from Berry Big Heart. And we've got the stitched Quilted Heart background. And this is where she has used the scalloped the scalloped edge from the lovely little borders to create her own rectangle shape. I think it looks really, really cool. Another Pastel Vista card. This one's by Tally. And she has used our Stitched Hearts dies to die cut some inked up cardstock and then added these adorable little pasta shapes on it. You and the macaroni tomato cheese. Oh yeah, everybody loves mac and cheese. Here we have a card featuring Otter Side, the I Love You shadow, and of course those metric frames. And she has done like I did, which was use the stencil to create different layers. I think she actually inked it up and then just used a craft knife to go along certain areas here. I think it looks really, really cool. Here's another card using the Circle Masquerade to create that gorgeous focal element in the middle of your card. She has paired it with the Roundabout Sentiment and the Curved Banner die. And then in the background, you shall see the Amazonian leaves. And like Tally said earlier, it's great for building scenes and creating backgrounds. And then we've got a cute little, I'm trying to make her shine. Can you see how shiny she is? That's from the absolutely awesome stamp set. Here we have another pasta one, which absolutely made me giggle. Eat pasta, run faster. How cool is that? That's another Mona card paired with the Imperial skinny frames. I think it just, the frames just give an absolutely gorgeous effect to the card. And in fact, I think a lot of people will use it to create that inside panel, probably just as much as they will to create the frame. Now, what do you think about this mega shaker card? Isn't it awesome? So here Mona actually used the More Strips of Ease, that really skinny one that I showed you earlier, and used it to create little borders for a fun quadruple shaker card. And then we've already seen these guys. Aren't they adorable? Sophie says that card is my favorite. I know, right? Need that for my daughter who runs marathons, says Vanessa. Absolutely. I think everybody should try a little pasta. I think everybody needs pasta in their life. Yeah, so that is the new release. And I need a wee drink of tea here. As you can see, it's massive. But everyone was waiting so patiently for it. And now it's finally here. So just a reminder that pre-orders are now open. You can head over to the Heffy Doodle store and place your order. The release day is the 3rd of January, which means that you'll be able to buy it from retail partners from the 3rd of January. But you can place pre-orders on the Heffy Doodle store, and they will ship no later than the 3rd. I'll try to get them out a little bit before that even. And everybody who places an order on the Heffy Doodle store with at least one item from the new release, even if it's only one item from the new release and that's it, or if it's one item from the new release and loads of other older stuff, doesn't matter. They just need to have at least one item from the new release, and that will mean that they will get a free Sweet Stuff Stamp Set. I also wanted to show you this. Mona sent it to me. It's a lip balm, but it's in the shape of a macaron. So how cool is that? She sent me a photo of her cards, and I said, "Is that a real macaron on your desk?" She's like, "No, it's lip balm." So there we go, guys. Lots and lots of super fun things. Does anyone have any special requests? That is what I would like to know. Dinky stars, yay, got my order in. Could have ordered so much more, but had to control myself. Love, Anna. Oh, thank you so much, Anna. That's the problem. It's the wrong time of the year for a release, but had to be sometime. Yeah, and at least this way, I'm thinking, if people get treats for their, get money or vouchers, we do have vouchers. You can hint to Santa that you would like a voucher for, in your stocking this year. That works. Okay, so now that I told you about the t-shirt with the life cycle of a pasta, I feel like I really want to make it. Masquerade stencil piece. Okay, no problem. We can do that. We can do some masquerading. Anyone in particular? I'm going to start off with some pasta la vista. The problem is there's just too many options because the release is so big. I feel like I've smudged that on all over my glass. Smudgy, smudgy, smudgy. Too much excitement. Talking about excitement as well, we've had awful weather here, and my craft room was leaking, so I had to deal with that as well as everything else that's happening. I ordered the circle and scalloped square, but I'd love to see how to use any of them. Okay, perfect. So we've got some little pasta on the go. And let's get a card for us to use. I think I'm going to use a top folding note card. And I'm going to have, ooh, actually maybe a side folding note card. And I might use Mona's idea of using the frame, the really skinny ones to create 4 panels, because I think that will work with kind of like a storybook effect that I have going on. All right, this is an A4 piece of card that's cut in half to A5 and then folded over. So this is actually the size that people in the UK would use. It's slightly longer, so I thought that would give me a little bit more leeway with what I've got here. I think that'll be fun. And let me grab my markers. So I'm not quite sure whether I want to actually make it look more like pasta or more like a butterfly or something. I think to making it look like pasta, it would be really funny. What else have I got here? Butterscotch. So for these, I'm using my Nouveau pens, and I'm using Garlic Clove, Apricot Blush, and Butterscotch. And the shapes are really basic, so they're super easy to color in. I don't think I could ever go on a carb diet because I love pasta far too much. I have any other brothers and sisters out there that just love pasta too much to ever give it up. Me, says Ashley, I could eat pasta for every meal. Me too. Me too. And I also could eat a lot of pasta. Craig always tells me off, not in a bad way, but just in a Lesley kind of way, that like I want a big bowl of pasta. It's really cool. I definitely want the big bowl of pasta. None of this like little small pasta. He finds it too starchy, whereas I just love it. Just love it a lot. It's probably the Irish in me. I grew up on potatoes and pasta. So with this one I'm adding a little bit of colour to the edges, just to give it a bit more the illusion of shape. Okie dokie, so let's get these die cut out. That's that little guy. Please also head over to Instagram and keep an eye on everybody's Insta feed. I know that Mona had a like a little game almost on her Instagram feed. You might want to join in the fun there. Well, now I know what kind of food we can go and get if we ever meet in person. Absolutely. Although, to be fair, with me, probably any food. Any food, as long as it doesn't have cilantro. That is where I draw the line. No, I cannot have cilantro, sadly. Much to my chagrin, because I love tacos and burritos and Mexican food and things like that, but they always have cilantro in them. And I love like guacamole and salsa, but I can't have it if it's got cilantro in it. Oy vey. Sadly, nearly everywhere has it. I fell out with the guys in you know the restaurant takeaway place, the food place, Chipotle. I had a little grumble to them because every single one of their salsas had coriander in it. Like, they've got so many salsas. Every single had to have coriander. Unacceptable. Unacceptable for a hungry Heffy that really wants to have some chipotle. Hi, Tanya. All right, we're on the pasta. There he is. That's the final butterfly. Oh, I can't get my fingers under here. That's my little wormy, caterpillary. And my cocoon. So I think for my cocoon, I might want to have a branch. I'm thinking maybe the branch from Hootiful would work. Ooh, the other thing I could do is use the little frames. Let's see. One of the smaller frames to make like little frames down here. grab some frames. If I can find them, or if I want to. Aha. So this is Imperial, and this is Metric. Don't think they're quite the orientation we want for. We could get 2 here and 2 there, but I don't think I wanted one that would go like this, but I think this one's going to be too fat, maybe. I think it's a slightly different orientation we would need for that, but that's okay. We can use the more strips of these like Mona did. And maybe this big one on top. So this would be our frame up here. Hi, Lucy. Loving the new release. Yay! So we've got a little life cycle of a pasta happening over here. We're gonna cut out. I think we should go for, what color should we go for a frame? I think we might do like green grass or blues and things. So maybe something completely different, like a pink would work. What if we used pink frame to make it really pop? So we'll use the raspberry color. So now I have my raspberry frame, and I want to use this side section here with my more strips of ease. And don't worry, I won't forget to do the masquerades, but I think I'll do that for a slightly different card, because this one I think will work better like this. Here I have 1, and now 2. To go down the other way. So at the end, I'll stick this on. Actually, I think I might stick it on now, because I feel like I'm going to be able to sort out the layout of the card a bit easier if I know my limitations, if you know what I mean, in regards to edges. So for these I'm using a wet glue, because with a wet glue you get a little bit of wiggle room. Because these frames are so delicate, it's useful to have just those few seconds to straighten things up. This is a Connect glue. By Gina K. And I'm just going to eyeball this, I'm not going to measure it. I think about here probably. Hope that looks straight to you guys. Does it look straight? Ashley's off. The little one woke up. Oh no. Okay. Please post the finished card so I can see. I shall do. I hope Juliet goes back to sleep. Well, everything looks really pink, probably because I'm wearing pink and all sorts of pink things happening. Okay, so now we have 4 little frames here, and I'm going to work one at a time, and to help me focus on one at a time, I'm going to use my memo tape to keep me focused. So this is my first little guy. And I'm thinking I'm actually going to use maybe little tiny googly eyes, because I think that would be absolutely cute and adorable. If I've got tiny ones, that is. So we definitely need some ground for him. So I'm going to create some ground like this. So let me grab some green. And I'll go for a little bit of twisted citron. And just focus right in the middle here. And now I have a cute little ground. And I'm going to do the opposite, and it's sky. And of course we need tumbled glass for that, don't we? Beautiful tumbled glass. So I flipped over my memo tape so that I was on a clean area. I'm just going to extend that out to the left a little bit and to the right. So he is going to be crawling along there. Maybe he should be up first of all and then down. What do you think? I think he should have the same ground over here. Whoops, wrong way. So now some ground below. I've lost one. Here he is. So I think maybe he should be humped and then up. So he's scrunched and then like he's moving. Hi, Andre. And then the next one will be the little cocoon. So that's probably going to be, what do you think? Do you think the cocoon should be like nighttime? Would that be fun? Let me go and grab a branch from the Hedgehog Stamp Set to see if that would work. You could go for a branch, or we could go for a vine from the Simply the Best. What do you guys think? Come on, chimpies, where are you? The last one, of course. So should we go for a branch or should we go for a vine? Or even something like this might be cute, just a bit more simplistic. Any thoughts? I think it would be cool to have almost like a nighttime effect. I think I'll use the vine of Simply the Best. So I'll do that in just a minute. I might even do that in like a darker color. But let's get this inked up first of all in a darker blue. Maybe a faded jeans. So that's faded jeans. a little pasta worm. And we'll go for this one. Past my bedtime. Good night, all. Good night, Laura. I think we'll go for this little guy here. Thank you for your pre-order, Laura. Oh, and thank you for tagging me. I haven't actually seen it much because of pre-order madness, but I did see that you passed over. I think I'm just going to go for a dark blue. Rebel that I am. Maybe on white. Let me see. That I did see that you tagged me in your I can't remember what it's called. Questions of Christmas or something to that effect. So for those of you who aren't aware, I think that's probably too dark. Laura, Crafting Out Shifty. There is a thing doing the rounds at the moment where you tag people and then they have to answer questions about Christmas. In a video. So Laura has tagged me. So watch this space. All right. I'm hoping it doesn't look too weird being blue when obviously it should be green, but I'm trying to go for that silhouette kind of look. We'll see what it looks like anyway when it's all cut out. So we'll stick this down and run it through the machine. I think we can maybe get away with that. And then the next one, of course, is flying off as a little butterfly. So we're gonna need some Starry Night dots on this, I think. So I'm using my clear Jelly Roll Stardust pen here. To add some stars. To my night sky. I'm going to cut this slightly down here so it sits flush against the top. Like this. And like this. Can you see? Where's my glue gone to? I'm watching but can't really hear what you're saying as my headphones have died. Oh, I'm sorry, Andre. Sadly, closed captioning is not available during live videos. Well, the closed caption also is not very good at determining my Irish accent. I have had some issues with that in the past, sadly. All right, so I'm going to stick this guy down. This one too. And I'm going to go and see if I can find some teeny weeny googly eyes. If not, no fear, I can just use the little smiles that are here. And then the cool thing is you can use the legs for the antenna, which is kind of funky. So I need to figure out what I want to do for this one. I might do use the cloudy sky stencil. Ooh, or no, I don't think that one's gonna work. There we go. Do a little bit of cloudy skies here. So it almost looks like he's flying up in the clouds, way up high. So that's a cloudy sky stencil there. That's from a previous release. Let me see if I can find some googly eyes. I might decide against it, but okay, I've got big ones here, but they're way too big. Let's keep digging. Aha. Okay, guys, I need your oh, you could create 3D butterfly wings by stamping another piece of bow pasta. We could fold them up like this, couldn't we? That would be fun. Okay, this might make it look silly, or it might make it look cute. So I'm relying on you guys to be the voice of reason. Maybe these ones are too small. Oops. I'll tell you what though, they're really fiddly. I think they definitely look better with a little bit of a gap in them. So we wouldn't have any googly eyes down there, I'm guessing. Let me see if I've got slightly bigger ones. I feel like I'm going to have to have too big and too small. Nothing in Mama Bear. I actually really like that. What do you think? I just think it looks absolutely hilarious. There we go. Yep, eyes. Bigger? Do you think big eyes? Big eyes are better? I think big eyes are better. You put these little tiddlers away. I think they look more cutesy and less ditzy. Oops. Come on. There we go. Oh no, I'm on overboard. There we go. Okay, we got one guy with eyes. Two guys with eyes. And then with this guy, I'm actually going to stamp his feet, pardon me, as little antennae. To give him more of a butterfly look. Two little tiny feet turned into two little tiny antennae. So I want to make sure that his eyes are on the pasta and covering that kind of bit in the middle. But also try and get a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to Try and get them to sit while I'm holding it at a little bit of an angle. And while that's happening, I'm going to grab some other stamps to kind of do some fillers in and around, because I think that kind of helps bring cards all together. So in the Simply the Best, there is little stars. So I think we shall do that. We'll have some stars. And I'm using lotus flower. From Nouveau. Do a couple of pink flowers. And then there's a smaller flower. I'm going to do that as well, but in a bluer color, I think. This is Lake Shores. And I'll use the same stamp with a gray tone. Oh, what's wrong, boy? This is Sea Salt by Tailored Expressions. Awesome. So I'm going to put away my blending brushes for a second. And then I'm going to have a little look at my classic sentiments to see if there's anything that would match well. For the inside. Here we go. This card worked for so many occasions. Valentine, let's grow old together, birthday, another. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I kind of see it. My interpretation of this card is maybe somebody's been going through some rough times and you're like, it's okay, you'll get through this. You'll come out the other side as a butterfly. That's my interpretation of what's going on here. But it really could be for anything. There is a sentiment here that says, sending you strength, wishing you a speedy recovery, good luck, make a wish. Sorry to see you go. That would also kind of work. You're amazing. You're the best. It's your big day. I don't know, guys. What do you think? You passed. Bon voyage. You've got this. I quite like you've got this. I think that's kind of cool. What do you think, guys? Should we do You've Got This? See if we can get. I think the grey tone would work really well, but a holy not a holy mackerel, a oyster shell rather than a holy mackerel. Let me see if we'll get any scraps. What do you think? Yes, good one. So snow spiders. Okay, cool. We'll do that then. You've Got This. Stamped using Party Dress by Catherine Puller. And that is from the Classic Sentiments. And I'm going to just trim that down really roughly and then use my more strips of these. And then I can move over to doing the masquerade. Too many products, I can't find it in my box. There you are. Okay. Ooh, actually, I'm going to use a thicker one. So I've not cut it quite right for a thick one. So I'll stamp it again in just a second. So is everybody ready for Christmas? I hope so, because it's just around the corner. All right, so I've got my sentiment strip here. I've got my sentiment again. And I'm just going to use an acrylic block. Do that right in the middle there. And then I'll show you how to use these guys. So we have a shallow fishtail And we have a deeper fishtail over here. So you can use whichever one you think looks best. I think I'm going to go for the shallow one. And use the little guides to line it up. Now, I think actually for this, I'm going to use some purple tape so that it doesn't move at all. Now, if you're brave, you can do them both at the same time. But you might find it easier to do one, and then you're able to gauge better what the gap is like on this side. But in the interest of time moving on, I'm just going to do two. Bada boom. Always remember to put them back onto your thing, because I think they're so small they could very easily get lost, get dropped. Oh, I think it's a little bit too wide. It's encroaching upon my design. Just food to finish buying now, says Snowy. Need to decide whether to do middle of the night food shop again. We did that, and it's really good, except we the place we went to didn't have any carrots. So what happened is we ended up having to go to like 3 different stores in the end, which was a bit of a pain, to be honest, because there was definitely stuff that wasn't restocked as much as you would have hoped. So I did say, oh, you can also make these cool chevrons. I did say to Craig that oh, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And I said, tell you what, you go, and then I'll go and do the one where you have to get all the all the bits that you didn't get the first time around. Ashley is wrapping presents. Oh, I love wrapping presents. Okay, let's stick this on with a little bit of foam tape. I'll just use a tip for this. There we go. I feel like I want to add a little bit of sparkle to it. So some stickles, I think, would. Oh, it's blocked. Grumble, grumble. What is wrong with you, Ranger? I just think it's so funny. I do have a sparkly pink, but I'm not sure if it's quite the right tone. It's more of a purpley pink, perhaps. It's not for coming out anyway. We'll just leave it. I'll need a pin at some point, I think. All right. So here we've got super fun card with a life cycle of a pasta going from little caterpillar to wonderful and happy little butterfly. Yay! Let's put it somewhere I'm not going to put my finger in it. And I'm just going to put away a couple of these inks. Now, I do believe that somebody requested hedgehogs as well. And masquerades. So let's give those a go. All right, so let's have some inky on the go. Zoom out a bit more. And I'll go back to that top folding note card, shall I? And let's see if we can use the circle and scallop circle. So first of all, I'm going to use the scallop circle, and at the top there's a line going all the way from across from here to here, and this is the 4 1/4 card, which is the fatter of the two of A6 and A2. So I want to line up with the first line here. There's a big one here for 5 1/2, and then there's the second one, which is the first, which are connected. So I line up the top and the first one there, and it goes all the way along to there, as you can see. And as you lay it down, it'll sit nicely within those brackets at the bottom. So once you've done that, I want to tape this down in place. So now we have this exactly where we want it to be. And for adhering your stencil to the card, I would recommend purple tape. I wouldn't recommend the memo tape. Memo tape's low tack, so it's not really intended for keeping things absolutely sturdy in place, because it's a low tack, if you know what I mean. Purple tape, painter's tape, those kind of things. Will help hold it in place a bit more. So here I'm using some ink to go around that outside area there. And then let me grab my circle. I'm just going to line it up on top. And let me grab my Misty so you can see how it can work in that. I'll take out this inside section here and put in, here's my card with my scalloped circle there, and if you want you can tape it down to the bottom and put this one right in on top. You can hold it down with your magnets if you wish, or tape it down. It's really up to you. Here's some Scotch tape, and then you can come in over the top. Like this. I'm going to come in with some blue now as well, just to create a little bit of a like a two-tone effect almost. So if I pull this up, you'll see now I have a scalloped purple, like a frame around a deeper like periwinkle, like blue-gray color. But we can go one further, and we could spritz this with some water, perhaps. And it's only going to pick up that water from, if I can find something that actually has water in it. Okay, I think this has some water in it. Oops, that was way too much. No, don't seep underneath, you big sausage. So what I was trying to do was like flick the water onto it. Like this. Except I've run out of water in all my receptacles. Apart from that big splotch now where it seeped, a big blop went down. That's okay, we'll cover that with a critter. Have a really cool effect. Now, you could also use like white or silver paint, for example. Let's take this now. I've taken away the scalloped one, but I can still come in here with my circle and line it up. And it'll line up perfectly on this one. So let's go for I'm going to clean this before I go any further. There we go. Let's go for some gold, which I think would be kind of cool. My phone battery just died, and how annoying about the carrots. I hate queues, so I'll probably risk the nighttime shop as I can leave the children behind too. Oh, absolutely. The queues aren't so bad now if it's like a Tesco shop or something and you can do the little, you know, the little beep thing. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean when I say beep thing. Where you scan it and then you just put it in a bag straight away, if that makes sense. It's my dehumidifier. It'll do. In fact, I'm going to put this down here. And try not to get this all over my clothes. So now we have this concentrated area and the rest of the card is protected. So I think what we'll need to do is use one of those Roundabout Sentiments on here. So what do you think? Should we do that? And hedgehogs, did we say? All right, buddy? My boy. All right. Peel back the purple tape. It is really pretty. And although it's got the guidelines on it, you can put it anywhere on your card. You could just like put it on the edge here, for example, to have that spotlight light effect. Or you can take this bit, like I said, and use that as the mask. Let me move this before I bump it. And we want some hedgehogs. So luckily I have some hedgehogs already colored in, I believe. Yeah. So we can use them. And what about the banner and this? Awesome. So what do you guys think? Should we have the little guy with his arms out? We have him like here maybe? Or we can have him and the other one in the background. We could use the hugs and kisses. We could have sending you hugs and kisses. That would work. You could just stamp Hugs and Kisses on there if we wanted to do that instead of the banner. Or we could do both. We can do a banner and a no banner. The world is our oyster. Oh, we're all blurry. So let me think, what kind of a color would we want for this? I think a softish color. Maybe we should bring in some blue, but I think that's too dull. We could bring in a mint color, like a minty green. Or we could go for a pinky tone. Or a lighter yellow maybe. This is kind of a pretty color. That might work nicely. Should we give it a go? So if you're using the banner, I recommend that you cut the banner first of all. Which will help you get better alignment on your stamp. And we have these two lines on either side to bend them, but I'm not going to bend them until I've stamped it, because otherwise it is it's not as flat. So also another thing that I recommend is to make sure that your banner is straight in front of you and not like at an angle. Make sure it's straight. If you want, you can put it in a misty or something, or put it against something so that these two end points, these two tails are even, and then it's easier to see the highest spot on your card. And try and get your center your sentiment. Like that. Now for bending back the banner, one thing that I have found is really helpful is a pair of tweezers. So what I do is I actually hold this in here like that, nice and tight, and then bend it back. Likewise, hold it in here with the edge of your tweezers along that crease line, and then bend it along the edge of your tweezers. And the thicker card that you use, it's going to be a bit harder to bend cleanly, but that crease really does help. We've got Sending You, we'll go here. And then I think we'll just do Hugs and Kisses straight on the bottom. So it will overlap the scalped bit. But that's okay. Do you know, I think I might use my Misty for this one. so I get it just right. I think I need more magnets. So pretty. And I think we need to have definitely this little guy with his arms out. Adorable. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut this guy out as well while I'm at it. You might be able to put him in the inside of the card. It's like a mama and a baby. And for this one, I recommend that you stick these little flaps directly to the card. And then for the main part of the banner, use a couple of pop dots to pop it up, just to give that help with that dimensional look. Something like this. Actually, this doesn't look that bad, actually. It just looks like it's meant to be there. I think he looks too lonely there on his own. I think this fills the space a lot more. So I think we're going to go for that one. And I think I'll also raise him up. I think he needs to go right in there, don't you? I think we'll stick him in there. Have a little glue dot for him in there. Adorable. And I really like this sort of a buttery color that we have going on. And I'm sure I have an ink pad, which is a similar color. Let me see. Yeah, this lawn foam, what's it called? Oh, it's called Butter. And in the Roundabout Sentiments, there is some pointy stars and some hearts. So I think I'll add some hearts because it says hugs and kisses, doesn't it? So I think I'll just create some random little hearts on the background. Using this tiny little heart and the Lawn Fawn Butter ink. And it ties together the color palette as well, which is nice. There we go, guys. So this card used the circle masquerades, the scallop circle masquerades, the Roundabout Sentiments, the curved banner die, and the Will You Be Mine stamp set. Also used some collection of inks, some starry colors by Quilted, and some Lawn Fawn ink for that really cute buttery tone. Hopefully you can see that. It has a nice shimmer on it. Pretty, huh? All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. I think we've had lots and lots of fun. But it is time for my bed. Thank you so much for joining me as I walked you through the new release, and for all your ideas and suggestions for the cards tonight. Please don't forget to pop on over to the Heffy Doodle store and make sure you can grab your free Sweet Stuff stamp set, free with pre-orders between now and the 3rd of January. So you've got time, but if there's things that you want to make sure you can grab them before they run out of stock. Let me grab my other card. There we go. Awesome. Two super fun, really different ones. Thinky Stars says, have a lovely Christmas. Yes, everybody, I won't see you until after Christmas now. Exciting. Have a lovely Christmas. I hope Santa comes to everybody and that you get everything that your heart desires. I cannot wait to hear all the fun crafty things that you're going to get in your Christmas gifts this year. Bye, everybody. Have a happy weekend and please help spread the word about the Heffy Doodle release. Yay! Bye. Merry Christmas. Bye.